In this report, we'll discuss the things that we hate about traveling the world. This is Dan from 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗡 Awake.
𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗡 from 𝗂𝗢𝗡.
And hate is a strong word, but it gets the point across. We want to lay out for you the things that traveling is not all a bed of roses. There's some thorns involved, and we want to load your guns with some ammunition, how to solve these problems. So your travel is more joyful. And so we're going to point out the things that bother us about it and how we get around those problems. But you don't need to take notes. Everything that we are explaining is in writing, and at the end of the video we'll give you a link to that, so you don't need to take notes. And we're going to cover them in reverse order, meaning the worst ones are going to be at the end, so make sure you stay to the end. And so here we go. One of the things that is a bother for us is incomplete or unclear visa rules, and it's all over the world, really.
Yes.
A good example of that is when we went to the Philippines, we thought we just got a 30 or 28-day visa, and then we'd have to renew it, and we might get one, maybe we get two more. And it wasn't until we got on the ground there and we met expats, we found out that we could stay there for 36 months without leaving the country.
That's true. And then it's so cheap to renew the visa. It's so easy.
Right. And so when you hear people talking about, oh, you can't get a visa or you can get a visa and all this kind of stuff online, I just wouldn't trust it too much. What I recommend doing is talk to the locals. If you're not there yet, get on an expat Facebook page. For example, we in the town where we learned about it, it was in 𝗤𝗥𝗘𝗢.
Yes.
And we talked to neighbors, and they explained the whole thing to us.
Oh, we learned a lot of things when we stay over there.
But if we could have learned it before we got there by joining the 𝗤𝗥𝗘𝗢 Facebook page and asking a few questions, how long can we stay, what are the visa rules, and none of that was on the web page. I mean, it's there, it's kind of there, you can decipher it, and you find a little on this way page, a little on that.
Yes.
But the key is you want to talk to people on the ground before you assume that you can't stay longer or that you need certain data or whatever. There's all kinds of little tricks, and I'm not saying to break the law. I'm saying these people are doing stuff legally, and they'll teach you how to do it. And so that's the number one thing.
Yes.
This is the least annoying. We're going to get more annoying as we go.
And then the second one is that you have to learn about the safety on the neighborhood. Is it the walkability and the grocery, laundry, and water? Water is very important for me.
Yeah.
I have to find a new water supplies that give me the 20-liter ones. You know, sometimes I can ask my landlord. Some landlords say, no need. A lot of problem. But by how to find a safety neighborhood to stay in the country, I will Google it. And then I also will go to Facebook expat group. I will join the country that I want to go, and then I will go to the group and then go to the search button and search safety. So it will come out the list for me. If I don't have the answer over there, I will write down the question on the group and let people answer to me, and they all are very helpful. So that is the way that I found that where to stay in the country, which neighborhood is more safety. I mean, more aspect. So it's different.
Yeah. So now you're probably not clear, because when 𝗙𝗢𝗄 explained that to me, I wasn't clear. So we put down some search strings for you on the web page. You'll just go to Google and Facebook, and you'll drop those search strings into the expat search box and the Google search box, and you'll be able to find information on these subjects.
Yeah. And then the second is for the laundry and the grocery store, or the mercado, the local mercado.
Markets.
Market is always that when I arrive in that country, that city, I only will be start to Google. It is more easy in that way, yes.
And for this reason, a lot of the trouble that you go through for the first week or two when you're moving somewhere, or you're going somewhere on an exploratory visit to decide if you want to move there or not, is where do I live, what neighborhood, where do I shop, this kind of thing. That's why we cover that in our retired chief reports, so that information's there for you. It gets you on the ground running. You can even stay in the places we stay. That's great. One of the things, and we're getting more annoying as we go here, is we've had a few times where we've gone and we've sat down in restaurants and they didn't have a menu, nothing was in writing. We've ordered something and they've come up with bills that we thought were overpriced, sometimes ridiculously overpriced. And so we recommend that you not order anything in a restaurant that doesn't have a written menu that shows the price next to each item.
Yeah, or you are asking them the price before you order. If you feel it's worth it, then you can order. But make sure they give you the number is writing down, or writing down on your phone, or anything showing the number. That is better.
Yeah, because we had a situation where somebody quoted as a price, and they said the price to us verbally, but then when it came time to pay, they used a similar word that had an extra zero on it. And so you need to see the number and then say 30 pesos, 30 pesos,
yeah.
see, then you order. So so it's not that bad, but you don't want to get involved in that. Just don't go to restaurants unless it's in writing. Now there are going to be food carts and stuff you're going to want to eat at. You know, we're proponents of street food, so sometimes you're going to have to pull your phone out and get out the calculator and let them show you how much it is. It's not generally like a food cart this will happen at, because those are like normally single people, small families running those, and they're not usually big time criminals. They're just scraping by.
But just you ask the price before you eat. I will feel more safety, and I will eat. Okay, I eat this price. I'm not worried that much.
Good. So next off, we've had a few experiences where it's cost way more to get. The transfer from the airport to your first accommodations is a very risky place. Now, it's not true all over the world, but in some parts of the world, the meters are wrong, or the person will quote you a price and you won't understand it, and you'll end up having to pay a lot of money for that transfer. And so you can either take a Uber, a Lyft, or a Grab, or checks Facebook pages.
I will check in the Facebook page, the Aspect Facebook page. Same thing, I will use the search button over there to find the transfer, airport transfer, all these things, and then they will come out to search. So I will just contact the taxi driver, private taxi driver. That is the best there for me. Yeah, we have this problem before that happened in Colombia. You are taking the boat ride, and then really completely different price than what we
completely different price,
And then I wanted to write, but something's happening that is gone. The case is gone, and then we end up in the halfway. He don't want to send us to the beach.
It was a scam. So you have to be careful. Make sure you see the written price. Point at the number and repeat the thing. How much it is, and then it's really going to be tough for them to try to screw you. So, and this doesn't happen all over the world. Doesn't have that often, but you have to follow these rules because you don't know when it's going to happen. So, the other thing you can do, and we do this all the time, we'll book an Airbnb apartment, and we'll just tell the landlord, "Can you please leave a message on WhatsApp telling what your address is in the local language, what the directions are to get there, and how much you're willing to pay to take us there." We'll play that to the taxi driver. They'll know right where to take us, what route to take us, and how much we're willing to pay. And
normally we will ask the Airbnb that how much we need to pay for the taxi driver. So it's come out with a correct the address and the money amount. So it's easier.
Yeah, so those transfers are key. Once you're in a town and you know where you're staying and where you're going, you'll know how far it is, and you'll be oriented, and you'll know how much it should cost, and you can ask the driver, and if the price is fair, you're fine. But that just pay attention to those airport transfers. Those are where you're going to get into some trouble.
And the next one is the immigrations. As you know that right now is pandemic, so all the rule is changed. If you want to travel, you need to print out all your travel documents, your booking, where you stay, accommodations, and your PCR test or antigen test. These three, and one more, insurance. Depending on which country you go, some they will require insurance, and they want it to print out that the insurance cover you if you catch a COVID in their country, and the amount per day. That is very.
And as Americans and as Malaysians, they go wherever they want practically in the world. We do. also, and we just show up and they stamp our passport, boom, 30,
Yeah.
60, 90, 6 months, whatever we're allotted as citizens of those countries, and we have great trade agreements with those with most of the countries, both America and Malaysia. So we're used to being treated like royalty when we enter a country. But at this time, we've noticed that the immigration officials aren't so busy. They don't have a line of 200-300 people. So they start asking a lot of questions. They want to see stuff in writing.
Yes.
And it's almost like they're mixing up preferred nations with other nations that they can ask for bank statements and all this kind of stuff. And so immigration officials are a little touchy right now, and you don't want to mess with them. You know, they have a badge and they're proud of themselves. And so you want to just have all your documents in a row.
Yeah, you just bring all the document you need on the row.
Yeah, and just hand them to them when they ask for them.
Yes.
And the other thing you want to do is Google what documents do I need, or what documents do U.S. citizens need to enter Thailand. Of course, your country and then the country you're entering, you would change it, but you want to Google that and go read. You'll find often on the embassy webpage what documents are required. Make sure you have all those documents and print it out.
I
And bring
found
it
out
with you.
the 𝐂𝐻.com, the
Kayak?
travel descriptions
Yeah.
is quite accurate. But I will Google that. Plus, I will Google the country immigration website as well.
Yeah.
To combine.
Confirm.
To confirm
Yeah,
everything.
that's very smart.
Yes.
The other thing you want to do is you don't want to walk up to immigration looking like a drug dealer or a gangster or a hellion or what. Go there like a clean T-shirt, no "I hate God" on the front or a marijuana leaf. Don't go with flip-flops and torn shorts and a hat with sideways. Present yourself in a way that will be easier for them to stamp your passport and let you go by without searching your luggage and all that stuff. Treat immigration differently than you do.
Plus, when you want to renew your visa in the immigration office,
Yes.
most of the country they request you to wear like what Dan's saying just now, T-shirt and long pant and sports shoe or the carbon-toe shoe.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't assume that because if you work at Google and you can wear board shorts and a tank top and a beanie that you're going to go to some other country and be treated like a Google employee because you have that job. You need to figure out what's going on in that country. So just be very conservative, be straightforward, and don't be impolite with immigration officials. Don't start raising your voice. They may not give you an extension. They may have you leave their country. So don't fool around. They have a job to do, and treat them with some respect, and they'll treat you with respect back. So.
I can tell that most of the immigration office, even in Asia, they request you to wear it properly to go to the immigration, and they have the right to reject you if you're not wearing properly, like the girl not wearing like me.
Yeah.
This ones. That is the story.
Yeah. Next, you want to just check before you go to a country. You want to anticipate any kind of local scams that you need to watch out for.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of a video I made. Click the links below and come to the webpage. When we were in Marrakesh, we ran into 4 or 5 different scams. We knew to look for most of them because we had done what we're telling you to do. You want to go onto Google and you say, what are the tour scams for Marrakesh? What are the tour scams for whatever city you're going to in whatever country? And you just want to read a little bit, and so when it happens to you, the flag goes up and you know you're getting played and you know what to do. So
yes, that's true.
Do a little bit of reading about tourist scams. And watch my video below to give you as an example of what you might have to put up with.
Definitely the Marrakesh one is like what we read is happened to us. So the scam, just do not speak to them. But anyway, just watch the video of Dan explain about that.
Yeah. The other thing that's been a bit of a challenge for me, because I have some food restrictions. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat, chicken, or fish. In some parts of the world, that's not really a thing. People don't do that. Other parts of the world, they're very conscious of it. And if you don't know the local language, what I recommend you do is put all of your food restrictions into a little table. Or it's not just food restrictions, it's if you don't speak the local language, common things you're going to want to put in a little table. Let me give you some examples. So you go to Google Translate and you put it in English, and then it'll have a spot there that says translate into what language. So you put whatever the food restriction is. I'm a vegetarian, and it'll be in their language. And then when you get to the place, you look at the English version, and then you point at the one next to it. I'm a vegetarian, and then I don't eat chicken, meat, or fish. Point at the one next to it. Does this dish have, chicken, meat, or fish in it? Where's the bathroom? Do you know where well, you'll have your smartphone.
But one thing is you need to save it and download it or print screen. If the place they have no internet, you screw up already.
Yeah, so good point. I would almost suggest when you're new at this, you just print it, but maybe that's not realistic.
You just screenshot on your mobile.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to share is if you are vegetarian, don't just say, I'm vegetarian, because different country they will think chicken is vegetarian.
Yeah.
So you can eat
or
chicken.
Fish is vegetarian.
So you have to say I'm vegetarian. I don't eat fish, chickens, meats, lamb,
pork,
whatever. You have to list it down, and then they understand.
And if you have an allergy, you want to use the word allergy, because when food restrictions are not as honored in some parts of the world, they might think, I don't care if you're a vegetarian, I'm not telling you that there's meat in this. But if you're allergic to something, then you want to take it seriously. Use the word allergic in English, make sure you get the right translation. And then trust your taste buds. Like I don't eat sugar, and everything has sugar in it. In the US and in Europe and many parts of the world, you have lights and diets. They tell you how many calories it is. Mm-hmm. But if it's in Arabic or if it's in Thai, you can't read any of it, and so you need to stay away from the kind of pops until you figure out what doesn't have sugar in it. So you want to put that sense on there too. Mm-hmm. And when your taste buds tell you there's sugar in something, don't drink it, or whatever the thing is. You don't just listen to your taste buds. All right. Next one is ATM cards. When you're traveling around the world, sometimes your ATM card won't work, or the internet's down, or the machines are down and you need money. So now I have a whole video on this, how to maintain access to your money, or it's called banking mistakes, international banking mistakes I've made, or something like that. You want to watch it. It's a short video, maybe 15, 20 minutes, but you really need to get that figured out before you leave your home country. I'll put a link to it below. But basically, you want to have some safety cash with you no matter where you are in the world. I'll let you decide how much. Yes. But you want to, maybe have a couple weeks worth of costs with you, maybe up to a month, but no more than that. And in case the ATMs go down, I've lost access before for like a week or 10 days. So that's one thing. Have some cash on you. The second thing is you want to have, and this is all in this video I have for you, and this. So I'm just giving this short story. You want to have 2 separate bank accounts in your home country, yes. And at each of the banks you want to have an ATM card and a credit card. ATM card and a credit card, and you want to keep those separate. If you leave the house with one's back in the room in the safe or wherever you can, separate from you, or keep it in 2 different places on your body. So if one's pickpocketed, you have the backup set. And so that's how you maintain access to your to money. So you might have to go to one of the big international banks in some
yes. countries
like HSBC, Citibanks all over the world. There's other ones in Latin America. I'm forgetting them right now, but eventually you'll learn what the international banks are.
Besides the international bank, that we also prefer that to go to the bank. ATM inside the bank, not the outside, like roadside or whatever.
Yeah.
If anything happened to your card, it's very hard to contact to the bank. But if you go to the ATM inside the bank, anything happened to your card, you can go to the bank. Yeah,
and so by inside the bank, she means at a bank. Or it's bank-owned ATM with a door that locks at night, or so that you can see that ATM is owned by the bank. That means it'll be maintained well. A privately owned ATM, like in a corner of a store, or in a corner in a hotel somewhere, that's privately owned. it might even more easily get hacked because people aren't watching it. They don't care. They're not checking it every few days, putting more money in, and that kind of thing. And so you're more likely to get your card scammed.
It's also dependent on luck. You also taking out the money inside the ATM inside the hotel.
Yeah, sometimes you have to. It'll be your only choice.
Yes.
Maybe go to one of these rinky-dink ATMs, but stay away from them whenever you have a choice. One of the other, and this is a big thing for us. One of the big annoyances is that we often end up somewhere where there's not a decent internet connection.
Yeah, so we always have our content like a week, 2 weeks in advance. So when we go to another place, that we don't worry about the internet down or anything. So the content that you see that we always like left already because
so when you're watching video, we're usually not there. Not always true, but that's generally the case. So we try to have enough up so that if we run into internet problems when we land, we're not trying to put a video together that's going to play tomorrow, because we may not be able to upload it, and it happens all the time. And so slow internet connections are a problem. If they are a problem for you, maybe your phone's enough and you're just going to get a SIM card at the airport and just surf the internet on your phone or your tablet. But for us, we need our computers and we need a nice Wi-Fi in our place. Okay, so what are our tricks to making sure we have a good Wi-Fi when we land in a new place? We like to stay, we're slow travelers. That means we want to stay in each place, hopefully a month. So we really get to know it and we're not moving so much that actually that's kind of another thing about traveling. It can be get annoying if you're moving too often. So we'll talk about that next. But so when you land in a place, you don't want to rent a place for a month and then get there and find out they don't have internet, because 2 weeks passes pretty fast and you're going to coffee shops and you're going to digital nomad places and renting for the day and all this. And it's better to have it at home where you can use it. And so you want to make sure that you have internet. And so what you do is you rent a place for a few days. If it has good internet, then you negotiate a longer term with the landlord. And often you can save money with that too, paying cash.
Usually we arrive in that place, we will just take our phone or laptop and connect and play the ATT test. And internet is good. We direct to make a deal with the owner. We want to extend for a month. We want to renting for a month.
Right. And so the other thing we do before we book is we read all the reviews.
Yes.
Do people complain about the internet? Are they talking about the internet? Are they saying how great the internet is? So you want to read all the reviews. You can even have the landlord run the ATT test. Just explain to them that there's other people and we're not the only ones that need internet. And if you can, like for example on Airbnb, if you can post one of your pictures showing what your AT&T upload and download speed is and your ping rate, you're going to be a more desirable landlord and you're going to get more bookings. So it's not just for us, but would you please run this test, take a photo of your phone or your computer showing the results, paste that on your channel, and you're going to improve your rentability. And so ask the landlord to run an AT&T before you book it. The other thing you can do is just, like we said, book a few days, wait till you get there, run the test. If it's good, then negotiate the rest of the month, which means you might save some fees, some booking fees through whatever company that landlord is booking through. But if you get to a place and the internet's not too good, then you can search, make sure you find a neighborhood you like, and you can walk into a unit with the landlord. You're not renting it yet, you're just checking. You run the AT&T test, see if you're getting the results you want, and then you can make a deal with the landlord. But if you book a place for a month and you show up there and it's no good, that's not good. And so try to avoid that. That's our advice about that. The other thing is you need to pick up a SIM card at the airport when you land in a new country. Maybe you'll stay in 3 or 4 different cities, so you'll get a SIM card, update it once a month. It might cost you $20, $25.
Yes.
Most of the world is at least 50% of the cost of the US. And so you'll be able to have a local SIM card in your Android and be able to run a hotspot. And And that's a great backup if the Wi-Fi is not working. It's not going to really serve two people online with video and this kind of stuff, but it'll help you with emergency. So make sure to have an Android that's unlocked and be able to slip a SIM card in there. And so I have a video also about how the best way to find the cheapest apartment in the area you want, and I'll put a link to that down below, and it covers more of this in detail. Okay, the last thing that is annoying that we found is if we don't stay in each place long enough. Like we had a period of time where we were moving every week.
Oh God, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's hard to really enjoy yourself when you only have a place somewhere for a week, and you're researching where you'll go next.
Where to buy food, where's the laundry.
Yeah, it's just too much going on.
It's too much going on.
Yeah, so I think we've pretty much settled on the idea that we like staying in a place for a month.
Yes.
We do it shorter than that sometimes. Like we often do, like we'll be staying somewhere for a month, and then at the last week we'll go somewhere nearby for a week or something when we don't want to spend a whole month there. Or there's somewhere else we have to be, or different things. But you know, almost like a vacation from our vacation. But overall, you don't want to be picking up and flying or taking long distance travel and having to figure out a whole new country and you know, all of that, you know, every 2 weeks or something. So I would say if you're going to be a slow traveler, instead of just retiring one spot, you want to extend. And the beautiful thing about staying in places longer is you can get cheaper rent.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Because you're negotiating with the landlord for a month. Tourists come there, they're there like a week, they're going to gouge them, you know, and they're not going to be able to get a better rate. But when the landlord knows that they're going to have somebody there for a month, and you make them an offer, they might take it, because then they don't have to flip it on Friday or Sunday or whatever their turn day is. They don't have to clean it and do all this stuff. They don't have to worry about it. That's one unit that's just making income for a whole month or 2 months or whatever. And so it's cheaper. It's cheaper on you because you don't have all those transaction costs, flight, moving, figuring out stuff, and you're not using such a high percentage of your time doing all this research. You're enjoying it for a full month, and maybe, you know, in the last week you're doing research before you leave. So as a slow traveler, we recommend, if you can, try to stay in each place a month or more.
Yeah.
So that's it. Those are the things we don't like about traveling the world. And so we hope our ideas will make your travel life easier, more enjoyable, and that you won't have to learn everything by experience the way that we did. And
you just go to 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝗢 website and you will get where to find the local food, laundry place, haircut place.
Well, all the reports don't have that, because I don't cut my hair every time we move to it.
Almost every spot we have recorded where you cut your hair.
Yeah, but we have like 50 plus retired chief reports all over the world, and the goal of the report is to give you a soft landing.
Yes.
And so check out our memberships. Thanks for watching our video. Please like, comment, or subscribe.
This will help our YouTube channel to be grow. And one more thing is I just update how we met, me and Stan, how we met. So make sure you go to my YouTube channel.
Just click up here. Here there'll be a little thing. It'll show you 𝐶𝐿 how we met.
Yes.
And go watch that video. It's a beautiful, well done video, and it'll give and subscribe to 𝐶𝐿 channel.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
See you next time.
Bye bye. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our video. Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.